Hello and welcome to the Content Marketing Show. I'm Troidl, and today we'll be talking about the challenges associated with managing copywriting projects involving non-Latin characters. Copywriting projects involving non-Latin characters have specific challenges that you need to be prepared for. These types of projects can lead to complications when it comes to word counts and character limits, which in turn can make it difficult to calculate payment rates. Simply reviewing content can also be a challenge, for example, if the language it is written in is bidirectional. First of all, let's take a look at some examples of languages that use non-Latin characters. Let's start with the Far Eastern languages, traditional Chinese, Simplified Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. In my personal experience, the Far Eastern languages are the ones that present the most challenges, simply because they are so different from English. The Far Eastern languages contain thousands of characters, much more than the 26 used in English. They can be written either horizontal or vertical, and use scripts including ideographic characters, kana and hangul. Furthermore, both Chinese and Japanese do not use spaces between words, although Korean does. In the Far Eastern languages, one character does not equal one word or one letter. It is more complicated than that. But don't you worry. I will explain how to calculate word counts and character counts later on in this video. Now, let's take a look at the Middle Eastern languages, Arabic and Hebrew. The Middle Eastern languages contain far fewer characters than the Far Eastern languages, but they still present challenges. Arabic and Hebrew are both bidirectional, which means that these languages use characters which can be read from left to right as well as from right to left. And finally, let's look at Thai. The main challenge relating to the Thai language is its complex text layout. Thai does not use spacing, and the ratio of words to characters can be very difficult to tell if you're not familiar with the language. Now, let's look at the first major challenge: calculating words and character counts. Sometimes you might know how many words you want a piece of content to be in English, but you might not know how many words or characters that is equivalent to in your target language. So, how do you work out how many non-Latin characters are equivalent to the requested number of Latin-based words or characters? Let's focus on the Far Eastern languages, as these are the languages that in my experience are the most difficult to calculate word and character counts for. Luckily, there are some handy formulas that you can use to convert Latin words and characters into Far Eastern characters. First of all, let's look at word counts. Some types of content are likely to be requested as a word count, such as landing page content and blog posts. One Latin word is equivalent to around 2.5 Far Eastern characters. So if you want the equivalent of a 1,000-word blog post, you should advise the copywriter to write a blog post totaling 2,500 Far Eastern characters. This formula should be taken as a rule of thumb. It is not 100% accurate, but it does give you a good idea of the general number. Now, let's take a look at character counts. Some types of content, such as meta tags, must adhere to specific character counts. One Latin character is equivalent to 0.5 Far Eastern characters. So if a field has a Latin character limit of 100, then the copywriter can write a maximum of 50 Far Eastern characters. But let's move on to payments. It is not feasible to pay copywriters of Far Eastern languages per word or even per character, as this can be difficult to calculate. Therefore, it is standard for these copywriters to charge per hour. Prices between the Far Eastern languages vary quite considerably. You should be prepared to pay very high hourly rates for Japanese copywriters, while Chinese copywriters will charge lower rates. To make sure that you do not end up working with an extremely slow copywriter, you should talk to a few copywriters to find out how much they can write within an hour. This, of course, depends on the type of content and the topic. Let the copywriter create samples to get an idea of how much they can write in an hour and review the samples with the help of a native speaker. To choose the best copywriter, you should always take your time comparing prices, looking at samples, as well as looking at reviews and CVs. How important is it to review content written in non-Latin characters? It is extremely important that a native speaker of your target language reviews the content. It is especially important to do this for languages based on non-Latin characters, because only a native will know if it meets the word or character limits and if the content itself is linguistically sound. It is also important to have a native speaker check that the text is laid out correctly for languages such as Arabic, Hebrew, and Thai, as these languages have very different layouts from the simple left to right we are used to in Latin-based languages. So, what can we learn from this? When working on copywriting projects in languages which are structured differently from your native tongue, try to distance yourself from the structure of your native language to deal with these efficiently. Many languages have very different scripts, text directions, and layouts from what you may be used to. Educate yourself on the differences between languages and work closely with your copywriters and reviewers. If you can establish a good relationship with them, they will help you to understand the specifics of their languages and support you in creating top-notch content. I hope this has helped to provide a useful introduction to managing copywriting projects involving non-Latin characters. See you next time for more content marketing tips.